if you win awards, there are other people who go to court and bring a stay order. Himadri Sute Pahima Bare Anta, when you say it, people start, I mean, that way of saying, you can Bare, Sapta Sagara Rache Yello, Supta Sagara Kadide, Malaya Dadagada Muka Marmara into Illige Hai.
Now, if you shift focus to Kannada cinema, in the early part of your career, you did a movie called Hamsagite. You played this Carnatic musician Bhairavi Venkata Subbaya. So I was just wondering if your musical talent kind of helped you perfect this character.
Oh, that was a great, I mean, I missed out on seeing that. One of the, after Sankalpa, the second film I did was G.V. Iyer himself. He himself was a person who was doing all along commercial films. He had produced, directed, acted, and all. But he saw this. He was the producer for Vamusha Vriksha. So he decided that I should do it. And he himself undertook direction. And again, Hamsa Gite was also again a novel by Tarasu. And that he took. And then there was Shastriya, Carnatic music, which is one of the most difficult musics in the world. And then he had Balamurali Krishna singing. T.G. Lingappa was the music director. Balamurali Krishna also sang, I mean, that great soul sang 25 songs for me. And I was not so familiar with Carnatic music as I was with Hindustani music. When we had this Uttar Kannada, Dakshin Kannada again, Dakshin Kannada was in Madras presidency, Uttar Kannada was in Mumbai, Bombay presidency. And there also the music was up to this point it was Hindustani. From this point it is Carnatic, that kind of a thing. But yet I had to sit and learn those, and the effect was, I mean, magnetic. He's singing. My performance by then I was trained, but I had some 5 years or 6 years of training in theatre, and two, three films I had completed in Hindi and Kannada. So that was a great challenge, and that, of course, but it catered to only a smaller audience. It was not meant to be a commercial film, but in its own limited sense, it was a huge success. And later on, I'm again lucky in my commercial films. I mean, I must thank SP who has sung over 100 songs for me, and also Jesse Das, but SP was. Similarly, for like Balamurali Krishna in two films, Sri Bhimsen Joshi gave me voice for Bhagyada Lakshmi Baramma. I mean, Yadava Niba in another film, Makkalillavu Mane Tumba and all. So in that sense, this is the. I mean, that's the. They were, I mean, they were hugely popular. Bhagyada Lakshmi Baramma was already popular, but whereas this Hamsagite music was made popular by T.G. Lingappa and Balamurali Krishna.
Now that you brought it up, I have to say this that Bhagyada Lakshmi Baramma is so perfect, and it amazes me when I think of the lip sync that you have done for the song. And right from Hamsa Gite, for all songs, your lip sync is on point. I mean, I'm just curious how you do it.
You have to rehearse. That time there was a tape recorder. So tape recorder you can only hear. So I would listen, and because I had the Tala Jnana, which I had from my background in ashrama and matha, I knew the rhythm. So at certain point you have to catch the Tala. Sometimes it is offbeat, like in Hamsa Gite. Himadri Sute Pahima Varade Paradevate Himadri Sute Pa is offbeat. That rhythm you have to catch. Then the singing will come. Himadri Sute Pahima Varade Paradevate Himadri Sute Pahima Sumendruma. All that, these are subtleties of music, offbeat, onbeat. You will grasp ultimately, but you have to rehearse. Even with rehearsals, I became an actor in the first 3 plays.
Also, not to forget, the songs from Rajan Nagendra in your films are evergreen. If you were to describe their talent or why did they become so special in the Kannada music scene, what would you say?
Yes, but I mean, almost he did that combination of Rajan and Nagendra. I would say that they had a success rate of 99%. Maybe 1% of the songs were not very popular. But that is the rate of their success, which is very, very rare. Which in Bombay also in some of the Sachin Dev or S.D. Burman had. Then Lakshmikant Pyarelal. Those two. These two had it. 99% success. You name the song and it's popular.
You talk about success, and that reminds me of one of your chapters in Nanatama Shankara. It's one of my favorites actually. You mention about Minchina Ota. The movie was critically acclaimed, but it failed to do well in the box office. When such a thing happens, how is your mindset like? How do you react to box office failures like that?
No, it was well, to tell you, to be honest, I knew it at the beginning only. So we kept the budget low.
That's a smart.
Yes, because I mean because we both brothers were producers. We both are actors. All the costs are automatically less. But it won 7 awards. But then there is a curse here. If you win awards, there are other people who go to court and bring a stay order, and the judge gives the stay order. And that Minchinota award was 7 awards it won. Somebody brought a stay order. It was given. Somebody sought a court order. They were given. For 3 years there were no, no awards function. Because that sporting spirit also is not there. So where the awards are concerned. But we were not looking for those awards really. We wanted a success and people saw it. But at the box office it was not. For 3-4 days it was I think it was released in one of the biggest theatres in Santosh. 4 days solid collections. Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Then it's dropped. So because it's not easy to make a commercial film. You can do an art film. Yes, it will be very artistic, but whether we like it or not, it's the harsh truth is that not all people can appreciate or understand these kind of art or artistic films. That people at mass level, they look for something else. So you can't dictate that. That's what I said. Nobody can dictate that. It is the masses. It's kind of suddenly you feel it happens in elections also. You think that these people will receive, even it doesn't happen, and a contrary result comes.
A couple of questions ago, we discussed Hamsagite, and take another film called Nanina Bidalare, and we get to know your versatility. It's a horror movie, so I want to ask you, how do you evoke fear in audience? I mean, that one scene, you might know that, it's still so, it shakes up people, right? So how did you pull it off?
So there are other effects also, in cinema particularly, other effects, the sound effects, but in as a performer, you have to be different. And you don't know what, even if I try to be, I am here a very nice, smiling hero kind of a character, suddenly he has to become, look like you have to behave like a devil. If you behave with rehearsals, it will come, that devil look will come. There are all tricks and techniques and all other physical techniques, but performance-wise, you have to deliver that. Bare, when you say, people start, that way of saying, you can bare. There are, because again, Rajan Nagendra's one of the songs in my film, Gagana only. Bagilu teredu, kaiya hididu, preyasi bare. So beautiful, isn't it? Here this bare is different from Preyasi bare and barde. This is horror. So, and that it should be so horrorsome that whoever you are calling, come, should be so terrified, she should run away. That comes with experience, with rehearsal, a lot of rehearsals. Of course, experience.
Just to stick on to the topic of preparing for your roles, how do you prepare for a role like the one you did in Beladingala Ballet? I'm asking because most of the scenes, the majority of the scenes, you are seen in a telephonic conversation with a stranger. She's a mysterious person. So, how do you kind of pull it off?
That was another unique kind of a role, very unique. And it, because, in fact, what would happen is, this is, I'm, I'm a character who is playing chess, right? And there is a voice that time, now it can't be done because that time there was only the phone. And before phone, there was nothing, telephone. Anyway, the telephone was there. So anybody would get, and could get anonymous calls. You would know who is at the other end. You wouldn't know.
Exactly.
So, but here in this case, he's a unique chess player, and there is a particular girl who rings him up and he talks. So he has to. There is no girl actually at the other end. Exactly. I have to imagine that there is. I have to imagine, and then the voice comes. So that on that voice I have to react. So that particular, like Newton's law, action is equal to reaction, they say. So it is. I had to react also and act also.
Exactly. Because
that was very difficult. So what would happen is those lines have either I learn what those lines are and keep reacting, which is not feasible because you don't get the right span of time. The dialogue is for say 1 minute. Then 1 minute to hold that without hearing anything is not possible. Because you have to have some noise coming out from that. And then I'm imagining that the girl is saying so that. So what would happen is, where action and reaction both are important. So he had to react also and act as a reaction. Actor, reactor. Kind of a thing. So there were what times I would say, you read I would say some associates of the director or the director himself. Mr. Director, you read those lines, her lines. But he has to watch my performance. So he says, sir, can I ask him to... Okay, give it to him. And now everybody can't read fluently. Now he is actually reading, he is not putting any
emotion.
Nothing. So he is saying it and I say, how can I react when you are talking? You cannot saying the lines only correctly. Behind the scenes, antarala, what would happen behind the scenes, nobody would know because I would go into kind of a fit. So how do you expect me to react? Damn it, if he reads. And then finally, many times the director himself would say that. And if he also makes a mistake, then I thought he will also laugh and then everybody is laughing. So these are all different tensions or otherwise of making a movie.
And after Minchinavata, another very prominent film of yours with your brother Shankar sir was Accident. So apart from, say, planning the budget for the movie, what would you both do if there were creative conflicts that you would face during the making of the movie? For instance, I heard that there was a difference of opinion between you two as far as the movie's climax was concerned. So I just want to know how you both worked it out.
In such a situation, any two or any different number of people would be working for the success of that, betterment of that product. So there is no ego battle there. The point is, again, like Accident, like in Minchinavata, this film brought many awards, but did not make money at the box office. Because it is a different theme. People are used to seeing a hero, heroine, comedian, this and that, songs, dance, this stuff. When you give them something new, it will take time. And then there are any number of free comments that will come in from so-called experts. They'll say, your film was excellent, but it's before time.
Ahead of
yeah. Ahead of time. Thank you. Ad namgo tagalva. Such people were many. So we would ask, have you seen the film? Answer honestly. No, sir. Somebody told me. No. So he has also not even seen the film, but he has pronounced it as Very good film, sir, but before its time. So this keeps on happening in our cinema.
And I have to say that another aspect as an actor that stands out and very impressive is your control over the Kannada language. So I just wonder if literature did it play a role in shaping your love for the language?
When I came to Bangalore for the 8ನೇ class, I had left Karnataka at the age of 12. Then I came back for when I was 24, 25. Then YNK, Vayan Krishnamurti, I met him in Prajavani. He had GVIR and Girish Khanna was a kind of a triumvirate. And B.V. Karant was also with them, but he was into other fields also, like drama and elsewhere, theatre, and he was at NSD kind of a thing. So YNK said, you have missed out one whole set of 12 years from the Karnataka scene, and you are now in Kannada films. You should know. So he gave me books of playwrights like Lankesh, Girish Karnad, Kambar, and then authors like S.L. Bhairappa, Anant Murti, Kuvempu, Bendre, all those kind of a thing. Then Masti Venkatesh Iyengar ಅವ್ರದ್ದು ಅದನ್ನೇ ನಾವು ಇವ್ರದ್ದು MS ಸತ್ಯ ಅವರ ತಗೊಂಡಿದ್ದು ಸಬ್ಜೆಕ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡೋಕ್ಕೆ ಹೀಗೆ he kind of filled in the blanks. I loved the novels of Naineralu. I had the play I had acted in. Then I read S.L. Bhairappa's Sartha ಅಂತ ಒಂದು brilliant. It talks about ನಮ್ಮ country and its culture, religion from Shankara's, Adi Shankara's time, 8th century. Today we are in 21st century. Then there was another novel he has written on Yana. It's a space in India, actually. There is a spaceship which is sent. I mean, his imagination is like that. He wrote about a spaceship which is sent into space, which is never meant to, then they know it. It's not going to come back. Till where can it, the space, take the spaceship? And they are forever. I mean, in Trishanku, like what Smith, Sunita Williams is finding out. She's there, she can't come down, then they are saying we'll get you down, and she's still, so that kind of a. Then indirectly there was Matadana anta innondu novel Bhairappa, ಅದರಲ್ಲೂ ಅನಂತ ಮೂರ್ತಿ ಅವರ ಮೌನಿ ಫಿಲ್ಮ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ವಿ, ಬರ ಫಿಲ್ಮ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ವಿ. So these are all, I mean, great playwrights, writers, poets we have. ಎಂತೆಂಥ poets ಇದ್ದಾರೆ again. So
Clearly shows how much you have read. I mean, your knowledge is so vast. Can you tell me something that from all the literary works that you have read, something that stayed close to you?
So I would say, no, this is a song. After my drama days, he was kind of a master to me. He would, because I had grown up with Yakshagana and this and singing bhajans in ashram and all this literature, Sanskrit, I would say he gave me one poem of Gopal Krishna Adiguru. And it was Yava Mohana Murali. Nodi ಇದಕ್ಕೆ ಹೀಗೆ ಟ್ಯೂನ್ ಕೊಟ್ಟಿದ್ದಾರೆ ಅಂತ he heard. Then I heard the tune. I said, ಏನು? I said, ಅವರ ಬರಹಕ್ಕೆ ಆ ಟ್ಯೂನ್ ಸೂಟ್ ಆಗೋದಿಲ್ಲ. You are an expert on music? No, I am not a musician. But ಏನು ಸರಿ ಇಲ್ಲ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳೋದು ಬಂದೆ. ಸರಿ ಏನು ಅಂತ ನನಗೆ ಗೊತ್ತಿಲ್ಲ. ಹಾಗೆ in ashram there was a prayer which was sung. Within a couple of days, that entire song I knew by heart. I mean, my memories had sharpened on stage because of the mantras to begin with. Then the experience on stage. Then I said, I recited. And I said, give a tune, I can give this is now. But I don't like the tune, it has to be recited. At that time, late Mr. Gopal Krishna Adiga was alive. And he was not well. So he said, I'm going to take you to him. You sing this in your tune there. And I went with him. Then I said, what is this? You sing that in that tune? I said, no, I feel I can see it. Let me see how Mr. Adiga reacts to my recital. Not singing is different. So he said, okay. He also said, okay. Then I recited it. ಯಾವ ಮೋಹನ ಮುರಳಿ ಕರೆಯಿತು ದೂರ ತೀರಕ್ಕೆ ನಿನ್ನನು, ಯಾವ ಬೃಂದಾವನವು ಸೆಳೆಯಿತು ನಿನ್ನ ಮಣ್ಣಿನ ಕಣ್ಣನು, ಹೂವು ಹಾಸಿಗೆ ಚಂದ್ರ ಚಂದನ ಬಾಹುಬಂಧನ ಚುಂಬನ, ಬಯಕೆ ತೋಟದ ಬೇಲಿಯೊಳಗಿ ಕರ್ಣಗಣದಿ ರಿಂಗಣ, ಒಲಿದ ಮಿದುವೆದ ರಕ್ತ ಮಾಂಸದಿ ಬೆಸೆದು ಸೋಂಕಿದ ಪಂಜರ, ಇಷ್ಟೇ ಸಾಕೆಂದಿದ್ದೆಯಲ್ಲೋ ಇಂದು ಏತಕ್ಕೆ ಬೇಸರ, ಏನಿದೇನಿದು ಏನಿದೇನಿದು ಹೊರಡುಗಣ್ಣಿನ ತೇಲು ನೋಟದ ಸೂಚನೆ, ಯಾವ ಸುಮಧುರ ಯಾತನೆ, ಯಾವ ದಿವ್ಯದ ಯಾಚನೆ, ಮರದೊಳಡಗಿದ ಬೆಂಕಿಯಂತೆ ಎಲ್ಲೋ ಮಲಗಿದೆ ಕಾತರ, ಏನೋ ತೀಡಲು ಏನೋ ತಾಗಲು ಹೊತ್ತಿ ಉರಿವುದು ಬೇಸರ, ವಿವಶವಾಯಿತು ಪ್ರಾಣ ಅಪರವಶವು ನಿನ್ನೀ ಚೇತನ, ಇರುವುದೆಲ್ಲವ ಬಿಟ್ಟು ಇರದುದೆರಡೆಗೆ ತುಡಿವುದೇ ಜೀವನ, ಸಪ್ತ ಸಾಗರದಾಚೆ ಎಲ್ಲೋ ಸುಪ್ತ ಸಾಗರ ಕಾದಿದೆ, ಮಳೆಯ ದಲೆಗಳ ಮೂಕ ಮರ್ಮರ ಅಂತೂ ಇಲ್ಲಿಗೆ ಹಾಯಿದೆ ಅಂತ. ಬೋತ್ ವರ್ both were, they said, my God, why didn't anybody else think of it? I said, I don't know, it just occurred to me.
Sir, just to wrap up your all-roundness in acting, now when you see the Ganesha series, the comedy and all that, even that one popular scene of Ramana Murthy where you talk to that dog. So for you to be good at comedy, should a person be like a humorous person, or is it something that's practiced? Like, is it timing mostly? Like what it is?
It is has to be practiced. It is timing.
Hmm.
And what to say at one point, and how to. Some you can put in a kind of a sporadic way.
Yeah.
And then you have to slow it down so that it sinks into audience mind.
Yeah.
Then you can rush again for some time.
Yeah.
But that it requires. I mean, I got that training, especially in theatre.
Yeah.
One was from R.D. Kamath in Bombay, and another was from Manjunath Prabhu from Ankola.
Yeah.
He is from Mangalore. He is from Ankola. But they had this tremendous sense of comedy.
Yeah.
And they would guide me. So now there is one line which you have to say. You will say it in such a way that you can say it in a drawl, and it makes it's more effective.
Yeah.
Some you have to say it in a rhythmic pattern, and that makes more. So this is a trained thing. And now the film which you are talking about is Ganesh and Madhva. These are the kind of things. That is the approach of the director, Pani Ramchandra. That he wants to ridicule the house owner. So now he names the dog after him.
Yeah.
And then and his daughter is furious.
Correct.
And somebody you don't like, say a whole set of people, kind of, I would say generalizing. Everybody curses Nazi. So they want to, some people will take it out and their dog they will call Nazi. Hey, Nazi, come here. It's that technique.
Yeah.
Your anger, you're taking out.
Putting it on the dog.
Your ridicule, you are taking out of. So it's a way of saying. But the Gauri Ganesha, he's an out and out cheat. But that negative character becomes. I remember I was shooting for a film, another film of honey only.
Okay.
In a similar locality, an elderly, this is very funny, elderly lady came. She was elderly and she said, Yenappa idu Ananta, how can you do it like this? Yenama, what did I do? You see, you made that Gauri Ganesha. I am such a devotee of Gauri Ganesha. I went to this film to see. I thought you would show me some Gauri and Ganesha. What? He's a cheat. Why did you play that role? What do you say to that? And it's a film, it's a story.
Exactly.
Right to. Don't worry, I will never do that kind of a role again, okay? Don't fool people like this. I went to the film thinking of Gauri Ganesha Abba. The festival is coming and you're doing something.
Yeah.
So, I narrated it somewhere in some interview. And then Pani heard it and said, oh my God, I didn't know about it and you never told me. I said, how can I tell you? You have done it and I have also acted it out.
Correct.
You've written it, I have acted it out and our reaction is like that, which is very valid. It could have been some other name only, no?
Yeah. And also, so your seamless transition from a protagonist, a hero, to like a supporting character. We really needed some dependable supporting characters or character artists that we say. One thing I liked was I really loved your Colonel Subbaya character in Mungaru Male. I loved that a lot,
Yeah.
especially the last monologue you talked to Ganesh's
The monologues
character.
is again that,
Exactly.
that I borrowed it from the theatre.
Yeah, yeah. But how did you trust like a newcomer like Yogaraj Bhatt, like because he has done
No,
one movie,
he
couple
submitted
of
a script to
films,
me.
right, right.
He has to. All of them have to
Yeah.
submit a script to me,
Hmm.
and then I will read it and will
Hmm.
see what I can do in that. If it has something, some stuff in it to be conveyed
Yeah.
and conveyed well,
Yeah.
where there is scope for performance
Hmm.
and expression,
Hmm.
and God has bestowed me with big eyes. So there is a lot I can do with my eyes alone, whether my body or my even appendages don't have to.
Yeah, yeah. In fact, MS Satyu once complimented about your eyes. Yeah.
So that again has to be.
And these young directors, what do you see in them? So somebody like a Hemant, for example, or a Rishabh Shetty. What like because you've seen so many directors, but these are all new gen filmmakers.
Yeah.
So what do you see in them? Like what are their
Like all, there are like Hemant.
Mm,
He does not have a theatre background,
mm,
but he is a thinker, and he has watched any number of films, especially Western films,
mm,
English films, and all that kind of stuff.
yeah.
And he had a definite story which is native base.
Mm,
His approach may be the way the Westerns present their stories, but his base was solid. Like in although the name also is Alzheimer's and all, but
correct.
but the disease is now ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಮರುವು ಅಂತೀವಿ, ಅರಳು ಮರಳು ಅಂತೀವಿ in Kannada.
Yeah.
So he made that basis, and what he saw on TV, every week there would be an announcement in Doordarshan. There was only one TV then, Doordarshan, and then this body is missing. ಸಾಧಾರಣ ಮೈಕಟ್ಟು, ಗೋಧಿ ಬಣ್ಣ, ಸಾಧಾರಣ ಮೈಕಟ್ಟು. That gave him an idea, and then he composed that story and that film. In Kavaludari also, nobody had made a film on emergency. They were talking about emergency at the end, but what in actuality, what happened in a particular given situation, that he made into a film. Now Rishabh Shetty is definitely from the theatre. He has this experience. And he is from Karavali.
Correct.
So he has the Bailata, Yakshagana, and all that he has seen, all those bhutas, and he's like the back of his hand, he knows it.
Yeah.
And he's an expert. And he also has because he's from theatre, he knew what to do. And so he saw that I could perform. I would perform, and he had seen my play Barrister, which I had staged here.
Okay.
And he said he can do it, and so we were just doing it in the car. He came one afternoon and he said, "Sir, how do we can do this as a single shot? A new camera has come which will move and capture everything." I said, "Today whole day we'll rehearse, and tomorrow whole day we'll take different." I said it was a good thing because we used to soliloquy his monologues and swagata, in Kannada we call it. So that was it for a theatre actor. It's
a cakewalk.
It's not. But for those who have not, but the youngsters you mentioned, most do not have background of theatre and all. There is no scope in the sense they have no opportunities. But it was made up by like serials. But all those happen only in Bangalore.
Correct.
It's like Delhi and Bombay, and they are for theatre enthusiasts. That was this. Different states have in their capitals they will have, but from the interior they have to come to the capital and then they do it. So here, but now, just the other day, this another colleague of Rishabh Shetty, Pramod Shetty, he and his friends are holding a drama festival in which about 30 groups in 30 different plays from all over Karnataka are participating. I was called to inaugurate that program. So there is hope. Ultimately, they have to write. And unfortunately, because that is off late, after the 70s and the 80s, I don't know, there are not many
Writers.
playwrights or writers. The writers there are,
Hmm.
but playwrights as such, when they are not there. Because, for instance, like with a play like Adhe Adhure,
Hmm.
the entire what is happening in the country, he summed it up. That author, Rakesh Rakesh Mohan.
So, lastly, you wrote a very insightful book, Nanathamma Shankara. But has there been any thoughts to write your own autobiography, like to put down your own thoughts, like your journey in the form of a book?
I don't think there is need to, because I speak so much. As if I'm an oral diarrhea, like that, I go into, if one question is asked, because of my habit which I formed on theatre, I go into monologues. I don't have people. I mean, people around me, close to me, please tell me, you never allow anyone else to talk. So, is the refrain.
Yeah,
So just, it is easier to talk than sit and write.
right.
And how do you know they are good? When you say something else, at least you can see they're realistic. How do you know they are reading actually what you are
Exactly.
reading?
There's no proof as such. Yeah,
And there is no guarantee either that
yeah,
anybody will lift that book and read some pages.
yeah. Lovely. So, thank you so much for
Welcome.
your time. Thank you so much for talking to the Hindu. Yeah, and all
Thank
the
you.
best. Yeah, thank
Yes,
you.
yeah,
Thank
thank you.
Yeah.
Hindu is one of my very favorite papers.
you. Right,
And I didn't know about it till I came to Bangalore.
right.
And ever since I have been reading Hindu, and especially the one small spiritual column which appears in your. I have had many cuttings done and stored.